Lord 777 ministry calling was given by God in 2013 to the few 10% that will respond to the truth of the last days. Isaiah chapter 6 verses 8 to 13. Also I heard the voice of the Lord, saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go, and tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. Opinion of the author. The abomination that will make desolate will occur November the 11th, 2021. And the Lord have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a tale tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them, when they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof.
Here is an update on the underground synagogue, the Third Temple. Okay, we're here at the Western Wall, and you can see our guide is pointing out our location. We'll get into the details of the location of where we are. There was some confusion in the previous videos. Where exactly is this underground synagogue? Where are these chambers? We found it necessary to give you an update because in Jerusalem there is constant excavations and updates. However, this area is pretty much the same. Okay, there's the globe, and again, we have clearly told you this is the sun talked about in Ezekiel chapter 8. Incense. Okay, there you see a Hanukkah. That Hanukkah has 9 candlesticks, not 7, like a menorah. And you could see the Western Wall was there. Okay, we're looking at it here. And this is what it says in the scripture, Son of Man, look in the wall. Okay, that's the Western Wall. And the women are weeping for Tammuz. You can see them there at the Western Wall. They've turned the light on here. And when they did, we noticed that the lettering on the sun, the globe there, is corroding slightly. We'll try to get a closer view of it as we kind of look there and zoom in. It was very clear with the naked eye when you look up. That's when you look up at the globe there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. There is kind of corroding taking place. So this is new, and hopefully you've understood that what's going on here is this synagogue is the chamber of hewn stone. It is in fact part of the Third Temple. And this is necessary in order for them to do everything else. The Sanhedrin, the 70 nations. 70 nations are to build the Third Temple. Okay? So that's why this is very important for you to understand how all these things are in fact connected. Okay? So again, we're just giving you views. This is what it said, Son of Man. They face towards the east sun. Okay, and now here is the synagogue. The rounded chairs, those are 70 seats. And in the back, we're zooming in, those are 24 seats. This matches exactly what it says in Ezekiel chapter 8. Okay, so this is the Sanhedrin. And this allows them to rule over the 70 nations. Okay, so the chamber of hewn stone is in fact part of the third temple. Now what we're looking at here is not anything different than what we have shown you in previous videos. Okay, we're just pointing out a few things as we go. Again, the lettering here is corroding, and we have this sun thing. We're pointing out where we are in the western wall, and we're going to present to you some scenarios. Now, what Christ said is that when you see the abomination that makes desolation, stand in the holy place. And we've kind of speculated, is this the holy place? Is this the part of the temple that has a holy place? Well, we're going to just look at some scenarios. So there we were at the western wall, and now here's the stairs on the opposite side, just walking up at the back side of the, you see it's closed off here, the back side of the synagogue. So I'm just trying to get some views. I'm just on a tour. This is all on a tour. Now let's show you where we are as it relates to the other thing that's been very confusing people is understand, if you've never been to Jerusalem, where we are. So this is the western wall, and what we're doing is we are walking up a bridge that goes onto the top of the quote-unquote Temple Mount. Okay, so down below us here is the famous western wall. Now that's a new visitor center here in front of us. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, so here's the area in front of the western wall. That's the men's section. You see the tents?
This is Dabu7, wanting to take you inside of the $100 million penthouse on the 66th floor of Trump Tower. And no, this is not lifestyles of the rich and famous. This is exposing sun worship in the occult. And his penthouse is littered with all kinds of imagery. You can see the Masonic pillars. This theme is copied all across this place. It is mirrored in the floor and in the ceiling, literally. As above, so below. And all of this is set off by some interesting detail that I want to share with you. Now in the background, back here on the right, you have a family portrait. They say the siblings, and then a picture of his father. This book worth $15,000 that is sitting here. Pillow with his coat of arms. But then we get to the other pictures and the statues and the vases. And what it symbolizes is exactly what Trump believes in. You see on the wall here, the centerpiece is Apollo, the sun god, the son of Zeus, centered between the pillars, dead center, showing his loyalty, showing what he believes is important. Do you know who Eros and Psyche are? Look into the story here. One of the children of Aphrodite. You see, and this love affair ended up peaceful only because of one reason. Because Zeus said it was going to happen and overrid Aphrodite. Now Zeus had a son named Apollo and a twin sister named Artemis. And Apollo was the god of the sun. Sun worship.
dates. However, this area is pretty much the same. Okay, there's the globe. And again, we have clearly told you this is the sun talked about in Ezekiel chapter 8.
And what is very telling about this sun worship is that even right here in the headline, they point out that this is Apollo up in this picture up here, led by Aurora, the Greek goddess of the dawn, suggesting that Trump sees himself the mold of Apollo, Zeus's son, one of the most powerful of the gods. All depicted right here, just in this one room. Well, let's move on. Take a look here, and you can see the theme of the pillars is repeated once again. But this is when we start to pick up on some of the murals that are on the ceiling, and they are very interesting. As you can see here, and I've covered this in multiple other videos, we're talking about the Statue of Liberty looking identical to who? Apollo, the sun god. And who do we have right here with the torch? You cannot see this whole thing displayed in full, but it is pretty interesting if you ask me. Now we go down here to another view. And remember, the last painting that was on the ceiling was over here depicting this. Here we have another setting. See all the pillars. What do we have up here? Well, sure enough, and they even state it. So you know I'm not making this up. Once again, it is Apollo, riding in his chariot across the heavens. So, this man never says it. He never speaks it. He doesn't ever say in public what he has his allegiance to. But it's pretty clear to me by looking at everything he has in his penthouse on the 66th floor. It is laced with sun worship and Apollo. And this goes hand in hand with the Vatican, Egypt, the obelisk, the huge sundial at the Vatican, all of this. The huge sun on a stick that the Pope carries around. Is it all starting to make sense to you now? Zeus, the Pharaoh Zeus. Obama, in one of his main speeches, it was on one of my channels that got eliminated. If you played that main speech backwards, in it, he says, "Hail to the Pharaoh Zeus," showing once again what they worship, who they worship, and of course, his beloved sun god, Apollo. Right here, it's in the wide open. I'll leave links, eyes open.